Welcome to the 55th in a series of shows focused on Brookline as an age-friendly community. In 2012, the town of Brookline was designated the first town in New England to be designated by the World Health Organization as an age-friendly community. Since then, AARP has also designated Brookline as one of its age-friendly cities. These were based on Brookline's basic attributes and goals, and also based on the work and commitment of residents, of the select board, the town departments, and leadership provided by Brookline Community Aging Network. All of you are welcome to join the Brookline Community Aging Network of people, ideas, and actions at its website, brooklinecan.org. Our guest today is Emily Williams. She's the director of the Council on Aging, and she's the director of the Senior Center. Emily was newly appointed recently, in March actually, to this position. She oversees the finances and operations of the Council on Aging and the programs and services of the Senior Center. She's also co-chair of the Age Friendly Cities Committee and Brookline Can. Emily got an MS in gerontology, focused on community-based social services. Her MS was from UMass Boston, and her bachelor's in health administration from the University of North Florida. Before Brookline, Emily was the executive director of the Town of Bridgewater Department of Elder Affairs. She gained recognition during the COVID-19 pandemic. How soon we forget. Over 20 years experience in Boston senior services. She's a strong advocate and a leader in public health and elder care. Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's good to see you here. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And we begin a new era with you for older adults in Brookline. And I feel that way. So what really inspired you to get into this business in the first place, if I can call it a business?
Oh, sure. It's a passion. It's a career, and it's something that inspires my little children. So it's something I love. But really, it started a long, long time ago when I was a volunteer in a local nursing home. So I was in high school, actually, and I would go around to each patient's room and just kind of bring them a little chair and some iced water. Most of the residents were homebound. This was in the early 90s, and they would just be so cheerful to have some kind of an interaction and make a connection with somebody. It really was very fulfilling on the volunteer end. And I went to college, grew up in Connecticut, and came out here to Boston to go to college. Because I didn't want to grow up in an area or go to college in an area right in the middle of a bunch of tobacco fields, and just realized that the systems that were in existence in the 90s, they didn't make sense. They needed some kind of an advocate to bring them into a new era. And also some of the financial systems were just not just. They were inefficient, very expensive, and they didn't service everybody equally. So I became very passionate in working with older adults, not the hands-on, more of the administrative piece, but it's been going on for a long time. No regrets.
Great. Well, no regrets for us either. You're coming. What really drew you to our place, to the Senior Center and the Council on Aging? What is it?
Well, a lot of things. I mean, Brookline is, when I graduated with my master's, I had an opportunity to meet Michael Dukakis. He came to my graduation, and we shook hands and just were talking about, where JFK grew up. UMass Boston's right next to the Kennedy Museum, and all kinds of things that are just very important as a New Englander. But I've worked in Brookline. Uh, about 20 years ago, I was working for a local nonprofit, the Goddard House, and I really enjoyed the residents here. I really enjoyed talking to the families, learning about their needs, and kind of pinpointing and navigating very stressful situations on how to help them. Um, I really enjoy the Coolidge Corner area, the hustle and bustle of a very intergenerational, very diverse community. And having worked in this city for so long, it's half of Brookline is city and half is town. But it's all town.
Yeah.
But I enjoy municipal government, especially because it's a great way to get the residents, the folks that are living and thriving or not thriving so well, to be able to have an experience on some local services. And sometimes that takes a very strong advocate to be able to fund those services and really identify the true need for what the all residents should be entitled to.
So you're following someone who was here for quite a while doing that job. How does that feel?
Oh my gosh, it was a little scary at first, to be honest. Ruth Ann, I've known as a colleague for many, many years indirectly, and uh, huge shoes to fill. There she had worked for the town of Brookline for 42 years, and she replaced a director. She had such passion for, not only starting out just post her graduate school for the School of Social Work, but also to lead the organization into the next realm as the
Right.
directors do and put her own spice and flavor to it. But she built this senior center in an area that really needed a place, almost like, we hear about the third place theory all the time. The seniors needed a place, a designation, like a home away from home, to be able to access health and nutritious food, fitness classes, activities and workshops, lifelong learning experiences, but also to have it local. They could walk, they could take our public transportation. She knew that there was a true need. And the town at the time, 25, 30 plus years ago, was not going to fund a new building for one specific population, but she gathered folks together to be able to do that, and that's very remarkable and very unique. So I'm
Well, then
very very humbled by that.
you're entering the Emily Williams stage
Yeah.
and phase. And what do you have any feeling of what that looks like? What really your missions, your goals uh, are a little bit? I mean, obviously it's early, but do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I think innovation, we're in modernization, we're in a time where we need to, make things the most efficient possible, because we're faced with constant, I mean, I just learned last week of one of our funding sources ending. So there's constant external threats to our funding, which is going to look a little different in the coming years. And that could be our social services and transportation, the things that people really need. So I think developing internal systems to be able to create those efficiencies is going to be an immediate goal. But the long-term goal, we need another building.
Yeah,
We
I
need to
agree.
expand
I think we
and
will agree.
cover the whole area. Yeah, we have to. We're the first age-friendly city in New England,
And
and we're a sizable community. I mean, we're not Boston, but we're the second largest town in Massachusetts, and most communities have more than 20,000 square feet to cover that type of a population.
yeah, I thought we were the largest town in Massachusetts, but that's all right.
We were. Plymouth beat us out.
The so what really in Brookline? Just I have my own thoughts. There is over 20% of the population is 60 or over. So I agree with everything you've said. In Brookline, I think of Brookline differently from other places. What do you think of the challenges for older adults in Brookline? Have you identified any or recognized any? Uh,
I see a lot of ageism. And this is probably true everywhere, but one of the unique and incredibly positive things about Brookline is, as I say, oftentimes people are already at the table to help. We have decision makers, we have influencers, we have governmental entities really wanting to support older adults as the population really continues to grow. But when I hear the terms silver tsunami or well, they don't know. It upsets me because the life and vitality of someone who's lived 70, 80, 90 years is incredibly valuable, not only to their peers as voters, but also to the younger population. I mean, we don't want to lose things like 9/11. We don't want to have those stories of incredible significance that's really shaped who we are today get lost. Um, some of the situations that have happened in the past few years, the greatest generation, the World War II folks, and some Holocaust survivors, they're aging and leaving this earth. And we want to be able to capture those stories to be able to pass and share their shared experiences with the next generations to come. A lot of us remember COVID-19. Some of us raised children and homeschooled our children during that. And it will be the same when I become a senior. I want to be able to share those experiences to help the next generation to come. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think, and I do think that people as they age, there are other things they can do that are challenges and that are of interest that can be of great value to the community. And I think finding those is really important, and finding those goals, those initiatives that attract people to new things as they age. And they can use their experience, but they can use it on something brand new. So, as you say, very much what you're describing, but I'm just giving you my input.
oh, I love it. And we need more of that too. I think that, with over 12,000 seniors in town and we don't see everyone, the more we hear from people, the more value we have in these decisions. We have multiple, Brookline is very unique where we have multiple stakeholder groups that have older adults, not just the town boards and commissions, but we have Brookline Community Aging Network
Right.
is this tremendously valuable advocacy group that and they're a nonprofit entity to be able to have that voice for lobbying at the state house or going to battle for um, you know more safe streets
Yeah,
for
and things,
pedestrian safety. Yeah,
yeah, and those things are certainly required by not just the older population, but all. But they recognize it, of course, earlier because of the direct need. They're coming upon the need, and they're coming upon the situation that affects everybody, but that becomes obvious to them. So,
exactly.
yeah.
I
So,
met a woman the other day. She's lived in Brookline for many, many years, raised her children here, recently retired actually. And she had heard about a program and then a fitness class that we were offering. And she said, I never thought I would go to a senior center in my life. And I said, well, you're here now, so what do you think of it? And she couldn't speak more highly of the program and the building and the staff and the warm welcome she received. And she's probably in her early 70s. So she's one of our younger seniors.
I was just going to say it. She youngster.
She's
But
only
it's
72.
yeah, no, it's good because and have you looked at all? I know it's early, but any programs, anything near term that might be happening we should know about that's you're thinking of?
I think that there will be an incredible opportunity for every senior to give back and really voice their opinions on things through a new survey that we'll be launching in the coming months
Okay.
with the University of Massachusetts Boston. So we'll be having focus groups at the senior center, but also around town. I'm sure you're aware of the challenges of getting to the senior center. So if people can't get here, we'll be taking the senior center on the road and talking to people about the needs they have now and then what they think they'll need in the future.
Yeah, there's yeah, it's really good. I like a lot your institution you're talking about. They do great work, and that's a good group to work with. The UMass Boston, the Gerontology Institute. But
Exactly.
so it's good to hear. Um, anything that you and I have talked about a couple of times, but intergenerational. Are there any thoughts yet on well, you're doing things? I mean, obviously, But is there any particular thoughts on how that progresses?
Well, it was interesting. And I love that question because we just had a few members of the school committee here this week. Every month, I host a monthly coffee hour where I get to, right in our coffee lounge on the first floor, talk to people at a very intimate level to see what their needs are and how they think we're doing. And it's great because it draws new people to the senior center, but also the regulars who would like to see. There was one group when I first started, and they wanted to change our chorus. They wanted to call it a sing along instead of a chorus to attract new non-professional singers. And so it was great because we were able to take their suggestion and really, do something with it. We're a very proactive group around here. But at Monday's coffee hour, the school committee was here and they just wanted to hear how things were doing from an older adult perspective from the school to the schools.
Yeah.
And there were a few former volunteers at the schools, social workers, and they were sharing that they would love more students to do storytelling projects with us. And that
Oh,
way
yeah.
they could really enhance their writing skills and just getting the older adults and the younger people, the teenagers in town together to be able to share stories and then write about it. It's very powerful and it captures the moment of
And,
whatever project, whatever they're writing about. And it shares
perfect.
who Brookline seniors are. Um,
Yeah, right.
there's some wonderful, wonderful residents here.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's interesting. It's more like they often ask people to do that in general, but doing it with the younger generation, it sounds really good, actually. That sounds really interesting. I'd love to see the results, some of the results of that. But in another area, I guess I'm hitting my areas, but, but it's an opportunity, is the transportation.
Yep,
Because to me that's so important to for older adults and in Brookline certainly. And we have good transportation. We need much more focused on people who need it to get around.
absolutely. With a growing population who want to leave the car at home because
Yeah,
they can't park more than 2 hours at a time, absolutely. We have a plethora of opportunities. But one thing that's really one of the challenges, the funding sources challenges that I mentioned earlier was there's a lot of federal ARPA dollars, the American Rescue
yeah,
Plan Act money, and that is all across the country. It has to be spent by the end of next year. And we have a few of our programs wrapped around ARPA. So what we're doing right now is we're holding listening sessions to see what the true needs of our current riders look like and what other
right.
resources they have. Prior to COVID, we used to have I was told, a very, very robust voucher program to be able to
That's
have
right.
the seniors pay a very, limited amount of money, and the senior center would subsidize taxi coupon vouchers to get wherever they wanted to go. Very, very great program, but um, with the number and the volume of seniors, how that looks may be or will be different than, 6 years ago,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everything's different. Everything's different from 6 years ago.
right? It's kind of scary, but we're doing a
Well,
lot of
it's an
interviewing.
opportunity
That's
too.
good.
It's not
Yeah,
just scary. It's an
exactly.
opportunity. So I mean, new things are good and new approaches. It's just scary, but that's other than that, it's very good. So
Exactly.
um, a little bit about our area that we both are involved in. The Age Friendly Cities Committee and Brookline Can and Senior Center and people in town. Do you have any view of that yet? Of how those things fit together in any way?
They are a little siloed, but I think that through um, community sessions, and really, like when you and I presented to the select board a few months ago, it's really
Right,
wonderful. There's so many new people on boards, commissions, including the select board, as well as new to town, that the more repetition we have through identifying the areas that are age friendly, like safe sidewalks,
right,
um, well lit areas, age friendly businesses that have an automatic door opener, for example. pathways for someone with a rollator to go down the aisles and spend lots of money in the local businesses, but safely. I think having those conversations needs to be refreshed on a daily
Yes,
basis,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly. They began and they were
Right.
an excellent beginning and they had an impact, but they do need refreshing. That's a good point. And I have developed the habit of testing every automatic door I pass to
I
see
love it.
how that it works and how it works. So ever
And
since
if
ever since that activity of
right.
looking at the businesses.
Well, Brookline is fantastic because there's departments. The town of Brookline has services. They listen, and they've set up mechanisms to be able to track these things, like the near miss system on the brooklinema.gov website. If someone, you're walking down the street as a pedestrian and someone is not driving very well and they have a near miss situation, you can report it, and it works. So there's data collection mechanisms in place.
Right,
We work very closely with DPW, police and fire for senior safety related issues as well. We actually have an interdisciplinary task force. We have a very robust social work team that is always doing home visits and talking on the phone with seniors they're not coming to the senior center for activities. They have mental health issues, hoarding issues, possible rat infestations in their neighbor's home. And they want to be able to have an outlet to be able to share these stories and utilize town services. And they do that with us, which is great because we don't wear uniforms to work. We're not
right,
scary.
right.
And we can build rapport with the person and really listen.
Yeah,
Sometimes there's a bias that no seniors aren't heard, and they are through the Council on Aging and Senior Center. And then my job is to advocate back to the town leadership to increase our sources of funding or to have other departments think about older adults as they're out and about in the community.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you're doing all of this. A lot of people come to the senior center. Uh, what are the needs now as far as space, as far as transportation? What are the needs, the immediate needs, especially space? I consider space a very important thing because, for instance, I went to classes at Ollie, UMass Boston, and the biggest problem I said, well, can't you have a branch out here in Brookline? And their attitude was, well, Brookline has so much that it doesn't need it. And I said, well, it's and it's a drive. Well, in town, some of the drives to anything in town, South Brookline, you want to go to Putterham, you want to go to the golf course, you want to go to some other things happening in South Brookline. And I'm sure the people in South Brookline, I'm in North Brookline, the people in South Brookline have the same situation, and they want to get to the senior center, and it's a ride to the senior center from South Brookline. So what is that situation with the the crowding and the alternatives and the expansion to one Brookline?
It is a challenge, I will say. There's no direct route to, through public transportation. We do have a very robust van system to get people from their home to the senior center and then back. But oftentimes people aren't aware of that, so they stay home. And it's almost like a double-edged sword where they're isolating, and we don't want that. As we get older, it's really not good for our health to stay home. You have to be active and moving, and to be able to know that there's services out there for the person. But it's transportation and space are my top two challenges in the coming. It's not a long-term strategy I have to develop. It's immediate as the funding is
Right.
ending next year, as we have more population growth of older adults. There was some statistic published very recently from UMass, I believe, that low-income seniors die 9 years sooner than wealthy seniors.
I saw
I
that.
said, oh my gosh, that's terrible. So
Yeah,
we're really focusing on not only subsidizing everything we do from transportation to food to activities, but also to really get that word out, because when you're staying socially connected to your community through your senior center, you're going to live longer. There's studies on it that have been
Good.
done.
I'll make a suggestion also.
Yes,
In doing any of that, it's a quick one. In doing any of that, you connect to the public housing, the elderly public housing, because there are people there who can do a lot of things and want to and need things. And there's a great resource there, and there are great needs there also. But
absolutely.
that's a good place to expand the connection. Also, I will tell you that, for instance, Brookline Can in the early years uh, obtain a bus stop near the reservoir, by the reservoir that didn't exist. The 51, I think it is, the bus.
Yeah.
Um, and a stop there that didn't exist before. It took about 3 years, 4 years. MBTA, town, etc. But it was done. Uh, and we were
Wow.
conscious then. The point is, we just began to be aware that there's really problems about transportation. Everybody wants to get to that reservoir.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get there, especially older, but all ages want to get there. And people who can't drive, it's just not right that they're barred from that.
No, exactly. And that's it. We just had our Council on Aging board meeting at Putterham for the first time ever. And this was the first Council on Aging board established in Massachusetts in the 70s, 50 years ago. And we had new, fresh faces that shared they can't get to the senior center. And we educated them and they realized, oh my goodness, thank you very much. But they wanted the services brought to them because sometimes it's easier to walk a block than to have activities in your neighborhood speaks volumes to the quality of the service.
Yeah,
And it's 20 to 30 minutes, from the senior center down to Putterham, depending on traffic. I mean, it's not
yeah,
a short hop
that's
skip.
right. Yeah, that's right. And it's yeah, that's the way to do it. The I was going to ask you how we contact you, but I think I know the senior center, and you answer always. So that's. But if you have any other comments about how people can reach you or should reach you in the senior center, please.
Oh,
And
sure. They can call the main number at the senior center, which is 617-730-2777. And if I'm not available, we've got wonderful, wonderful staff members and volunteers always available Monday through Friday until 5 o'clock. And then people can always email me directly at ejwilliams@brooklinema.gov and check out the website, brooklineseniorcenter.org. It's got all of our programs, activities, newsletter. We have a monthly publication, The Beacon, that we put out that's very informational that
yep,
everybody should read and have a copy mailed to their house for. Yeah,
yeah, that's email too, right? That's
and emailed. Yeah.
that gets out. Who is the? How do you get the? How do you apply to receive? I receive it, but how do people reply to that if they don't know that they have it? And easy.
They can always email me directly and I can kind of direct them
Great. Okay.
for sure. For
And
sure.
your
Happy to help.
information.
My
Right.
phone, my door's open, the phone is ringing. That's a good thing. We don't want people to not call because if they're not calling, we worry about them.
That's great. Okay. Anything else you want to bring up before we finish? Because believe it or not, we're at the end of this short show. But of course,
Go
you're
on.
welcome anytime. You're welcome anytime down here when you want
Well, I'd love to give updates as these challenges become success stories. And just really, I encourage all of your readers, your listeners, your followers to really take advantage of the services through the senior center. It's either free or at no cost. And we are tremendous advocates for people in the community, especially a community of this size. So please reach out.
great.
Thanks for
Well,
having
I
me.
think I think I think we're reaching the end. Uh, but I want to thank you again for coming, and we'll do it again, maybe every 6 months. Let's
You're on.
give you a chance to do something in between, which you in 6 months. I don't know. You've accomplished a lot in 6 months already, so I'd look forward to seeing you. Well, thanks, Emily, and everybody else. The program will be rebroadcast several times in the next few weeks. And it's available on the Brookline Can website and on Brookline Can Facebook and X or Twitter, if you still call it that, accounts. Uh, and thanks for watching. Everybody, take care Be safe.